Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn. I have 2 messages of the day and the 7-deck read on the table in front of you. We're going to take a few deep breaths first. I would definitely stay tuned to the messages of the day. There's a lot of deep messages there, important information that came up as well. So let's go ahead and take our few deep breaths first. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Another deep breath. And one more deep breath. Sending lots of love and healing. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I hope you're having an amazing day. It was a beautiful day here. The sun's starting to go down right now. Today is the 17th of August, 2022, and I have the messages of the day from yesterday and today, as well as the 7-deck read. And we're going to roll a die first. All right. For the twin flames, it's 7:02 on the clock. We actually started the video at 7, and now 7:02, so that's July 2nd again, if that's significant for anyone out there. And 7 o'clock on the dot is that 00 of source energy, backing up the 7 of the chariot, which is the feminine within the masculine, ascending. The twin flames on August 17th, 2022. Okay, we have Mercury, which is Virgo and Gemini, and communications. We have the 11, which is justice, truth and balance, which is also Libra. And we also have Leo coming up here. So Leo the child and the lion's heart coming up here. So Leo fixed, Libra is cardinal, and then the mutable signs. So very well balanced in that sense. Leo, I'm getting the transition from Leo to Virgo, and then the alignment of Libra coming in after that. The balance between the two, between Leo and Virgo, since we're switching now. So this first message I did yesterday. It was 11:11 to 11:17. Let me just get my pictures up here. 1 second. Make sure I'm showing you the right one. Okay. So this is the first read, and as I have been doing recently for this particular read, the 3 decks of Metatron at the top, and then Nature's Whispers in the middle, and Shaman Dreams at the bottom. All the way to the left on this side is the underlying energies for each deck, and then over here there's usually a pile that I have to count at the end of each deck, okay? And the other cards in the middle are the cards that have come out organically in the order that was just natural to them, whether they came out 1 or 2 or 3 together. And then I will just show you this a little bit more close up so you can see the details of the cards. Okay, so Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman Dreams. All right, this first read, this was yesterday, and the underlying energy was the Tree of Life, number 32, which is the journey, the perfect setting, which is number 9, the Hermit, and 22 of the Fool's Embrace, which 22 is the Fool's Journey, and 32 is the Journey Man, whereas 22 is the Fool with an open heart taking that leap of faith. The 3 piles came up 26, 9, and 24, which is the Page of Wands, the Queen of Wands, and the Hermit between. And this is traveling etherically. And again, this was cut and dealt at 11:11 to 11:17. Traveling etherically to create the perfect setting as the Hermit and Virgo on the Fool's journey of orange to gold. And the energy was coming up as, I don't know if you remember, but the sun to me as a child was orange and gold. And now it's not. It's very much yellow and white and rainbow colors always around it. You know, sometimes it'll have more of that orangey hue around it, but it's much more than that now. As the wounded warrior in the child's post skinned, as the human starts after he had been through the animal incarnations and the element incarnations, etc. As the wounded warrior in child's pose skinned, starting out that journey of the wounded warrior, becomes the ET falling in cannonball run, transmuting pain and allowing the fall. And again, as we're going into the fall. So cannonball was being broken up into can, C-A-N-N, which is a piece of knowledge, cognizance, confirmation, and clearance. And then canon is that on. On baller was coming up because the ball was coming up, cannonball. On baller is 3 types of mutable players on the field. They're not fixed, they're mutable. They're the ones, the go-betweens. And on fall also came up as the energy of being on the offense. The onset, assault, attack, the fall of the rain or snow, but I was getting the rainbow right there, the fall of the rain or snow, and the evening, which the evening naturally says the evening, right, the leveling out. So literally it's coming up as cognizance on run, mutables able to think on their feet while moving and changing course if needed. Again, the mutable signs, which are Virgo that we're going into now, as well as Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini. But it was coming up as 3 here, and Pisces was being separated out because it's the 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in the next. It's like kind of like the goalie energy. The journeyman with good news to end the war, the hermit on the fool's journey, embracing the open heart and the leap of faith. Cognizant messengers clearing the field as they go. So it's kind of like that grid work, you know, driving across the country, naturally transmuting with your energy as you go. At 11:38 is the 11 of alignment and justice, and the 38 of the Queen of Cups, which is written that way, 3811. The 49 of the family at sunrise, of getting your wish. And then the void, of the symbol of the void, of the Om, the 30, with the arc and the diamond above it, like a crown, within, so meet and greet with the family at sunrise, and then the void to go within to the cosmos, the dodecahedra, or 2 decades, honoring in a wake-up call of the 2 perspectives of the diamond crystal, from the top and from the side. So again, the diamond from the top, you know, it looks like a crystal, right? You have the round diamond or whatever shape the diamond is, but from the side is the V with the cap on top, or the cyclone enclosed. So it's the cyclone, but putting a cap on it, so then increasing the pressure of that. And the polar ice caps from the core, north and south. All right, so if you take a diamond, you know, it can fill a circle because it's in that V from the side, that V shape. So it comes up as 7 diamonds in the 360 degrees, which equals 51.428571, which is in that degree angle of the pyramids in Giza in Egypt. So literally 7 into 360, which 7 is otherworldly, is the 51.428571, and then it repeats 428571, etc. And the 42 is the 2 of Cups, the 8 of the dance, the 5 of the change, and the 71 is the 3 of Pentacles of co-creation. I use that card as the co-creation card. So again, this is the energy of 51 or 52, the King and Queen of Swords, and that degree angle from the pyramids is right in between the King and Queen of Swords. Going into the 360 is 7. So again, talking about the diamond, seeing it from the top and from the side, from different perspectives. The V of the cyclone, and the cap on top to enclose it, and the polar ice caps from the core, north and south, and then seeing the visual of 7 diamonds all coming together in a circle in 360 degrees, each being that angle of 51.428571, etc. The King of Swords is on the way to the Queen of Wands from the 51 to the 52. The 2 of Cups dance of freedom and co-creation to the nth degree, which is what those numbers mean. The Om, the crystal dodeca, top and diamond, side or profile. The Om vortex open, the crystal closed, and diamond very experienced and broke the mold. Then the card number 51 came up right after that. Journaling within. Either which way, going within and up. Number 51, the King of Swords. Going within, but then up, right? So taking that energy within the body and then up to connect with Source. The 30 of the Om and the union. And remember, Om can be spelled O-M, but it's also A-U-M, where capital A for me in my alphabet is the penis, actually, or the rocket type of energy. And the U is the womb of the feminine, the penis and the womb. The M is 2 ones with the V in the middle, which is co-creation. But as opposed to the chakra system with the third eye dot, the lowercase I, the uppercase I is the I am presence and the co-creation between 2 full I ams, the co-creation of such. 3 mutables plus Pisces takes you home. The goalie, the goal is the energetic exchange. The one equal and congruent to, the other that's one equal and congruent to, the 2 capital E's, or equality. We are family. So that was coming up. I got all my sisters with me. So that was coming up as Sister Sledge, which actually came up again today with a different song. So very interesting. So the first card out is the 22 of the Fool's Journey. With an open heart and a leap of faith, Archangel Sandalphon, or Sandalphone, to phone home, or Saint Dolphin, who's with you now. With the Jackson 5, helping you to let go in the fall, time for release as the leaves fall. And the 54 of the Page of Swords is the message from the castle on a cloud, with Jetstream rocket to the purple moon, leaving sine wave behind as the breadcrumb trail to follow to the 66 Golden Gate via the number 33 40 Bridge, the dimensional gateway, an invitation to the Holy Grail, to the Holy God's Rail, and the Holland Tunnel, which the Holland Tunnel is coming up as the hole and tunnel. St. Dolphin to St. Klaus, which Klaus means key, the path key, perhaps traveling to Florida, please. From 8-8 to 12-12, from orange to gold, the aura of unity to the Ancient One. And again, the person's eyes and face were coming up very significantly here as the aura of opportunity and leisure time, the window to Source. Okay, and by the way, yesterday was the 16th, and the day added up to 30, which is the 4 of Wands, or the union energy, along with the 16 of the Tower. So sudden home energies, or sudden union energies, sudden big celebration energies, or homecoming energies. At 12-12 here is then 2 hanging men, or 2 hanging out. The sweethearts fall and rise. The Journal of the Emperor, Divine Masculine, with a message for 2 empresses, standing up via the number 33, the 7 of Wands, standing up for oneself, on the 4D Rainbow Bridge, built around the world, the Antakarana Bridge, that goes all the way around to completion, which is now, I'm getting the message this week that it's complete, for sure. To the number 66, the GG or the 66 are the same, the spiral heart to the Christ Golden Gate, to the 33 plus the 66 together equals the 99 of compassion to infinitum and source energy. 2 hermits, both 1 and all, or 2 all, or TOAL as 2 all, which means language, or tuba. A room, a chamber, a snorkel, a top hat, a tube. To coo, to bill and coo, a loud sound, elevated epic poetry or lofty style of speaking, house, poison, or made from the root, the coconut wine or the sap, and the croton oil, the fish poison made from this plant, the Roman military trumpet, a large reed stop in organs, reddish palm wine, or to cut down to harvest the banana fruits, the tubular organ, which is basically the whole human body is made of tubular organs, right? But the tubular organs is coming up as, from the Free Dictionary, is coming up as the uterine tubes. It just came up in the header. I didn't even go into the site. It just said uterine tubes, the horns, the uterus and the vagina are lengthened, and the double uterus with a single cervix divided from the vagina by, and then ... It went on, and I didn't open it up because it wasn't showing me anything anyway. So, and that was describing 60 days of pregnancy to the end of pregnancy. So whatever, however you take that, or however it comes to you, is the way you're supposed to take it. But this energy of the tuba, which one of the energies is here is elevated epic poetry or loud sound. The poison that we've experienced, that we made from our root chakras in fear of safety and security. And the croton oil, and croton is a watchmaker too. The oil, the fish poison made from dealing with time. And again, the reed stop in organs, which has to do with an organ that you would play. But also the reed is a mouthpiece that you use on an instrument to stop the organs. And the reddish palm wine, which that reddish energy is coming up as the color of your insides, right? The color of your heart and your organs. Harvesting the banana fruits and tubular organs. Then we go with the 26 cards here, which is the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands comes up as here as the new baby, right? The baby in the womb, or even the seed kind of energy. And the bottom of the deck here is the 37 of the King of Cups, to look up and to look away from the drama. At the top of it all here is the 35 of the Wounded Warrior and the Kundalini, released in both directions. The Rainbow Reflection, where the dragon takes notice with the 5 or the 51.43, which is rounded off, attention, pyramid. That rainbow energy is clearing the sun's path, the sine wave or kundalini, and the rise to the sun and its rays. The tunneling or quote-unquote boring, and remember that because that's very important here, because as in being bored, but the tunneling of the CERN energy is a bore as well. So remember that boring energy as I go. So rising to the sun and its rays, the tunneling or boring to the portal, reaching out in high vibe, coming together, number 43 of the Three of Cups. Sandalphon to clear, and then the 29 of the Blue Madonna present to hold space in serious alignment, while the 44 of the Pillars and the Weight of the World, with one serious light taking time out to connect in the purple moon. And there's that energy too of the two weeping willows reflecting each other in pink, compassionate love. The 24 of the Queen of Wands needs to stretch and lunge to release the energy. And the 17 of the Stars, for dreams to come true one step at a time, by conquering your fears, as the bold dolphin chariot, water, 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 the divine feminine within the masculine, showering in the diamond light, for clarity on the shadow, and the King of Wands' duality, to breathe and transition and fly free within two caps, two muffin tops, again referencing the top of the diamond, or the closing off the cyclone, two muffin tops coming together, the best of both worlds. The 55 of the truth of Excalibur and the red root of safety and security, the truth of the peace pipes, the TPs, which is also referencing your intestines and your toilet paper, and how, and keeping your pipes clean and your hands clean to share with another. The 31 of the transformation of light and dark, and the chaos of the sun's light and groups to cast a shadow pack and piggyback. At 12:43, hanging out and coming together, the Page of Cups number 40 and the innocent heart dancing up the spiral case, a tubular organ with flame and hand, the 28 of the twin flames and the muffin top double diamonds, and the electromagnetic grid, the push and pull of the quantum energy, untying karmic knots to say yes to the 52 of the Queen of Swords Big Bird and the Divine Masculine's rainbow pyramid of 51.43 within and coming together, the 12 of the Hanging Man to hang out and open a book, and the 5 of the freedom to speak up and be heard, to speak as one, double diamond contained with separate mouthpieces, the 27 of the Ace of Wands, arcing passion to calm passion. So compassion is coming up as the calm passion, that slow burn. With every breath you take, the wind beneath your wings, Metatron magnetics at your service to help raise your consciousness to the weight of the world on the inner child's shoulders. The 36 at 12:52, the Hanging Man and the Queen of Swords. Of the 36 to hear and know me as that little child feeling the weight, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands heart that gets all fired up to help the King of Cups detach from their drama and look up. At 12:55 is the Hanging Man and the Truth, the underlying energy of the 27 of the Ace of Wands and that inspiration to inspire that childlike spirit. The 20 of the wake-up call to the higher ground of the little fairy girl in the rose, and the 15 destined to open your heart to the swan within, the counterpart of the hermit in the perfect setting. I'm sorry, I think that's number 10, not 15. The number 10 is destined to open your heart to the sun within, the swan within, the counterpart of the hermit in the perfect setting. At 12:57, the Hanging Man and the Three of Swords, where the first card out is the 23 of the King of Wands, reminding him that he is worth it. The vision that you see for yourself, or her under the tree with 7 candles by the beach and a flowering sunset as your ship comes in, and a rowboat for 2 standing by. The 42 of the Two of Cups, let love be your beacon, and glow orange, the aura of unity. And the 39, which is orange, the aura of unity, the 39 of the Knight of Cups, with clear endeavor to blanket with snow, or Russian lady of growth after covered in snow, clearing all the crap away, that energy of winter and cleaning it all away. The clear end of emotional attachments in the spring, our raft or lifeline to the 30 of union adventure of being the mouthpiece that bridges the mountains with algae or LG at 0 point field, or living large I'm getting right here too. Then there were 9 cards of the Hermit, and at the bottom of it all the expansion of the 12 and the Hanging Man, seeing new perspectives and being wise, and at the top of it all the 22 of the leap of faith with an open heart, the journey across the invisible tightrope with invisible catch net or catchment below. Like doing tricks on the balance beam with your coach standing by, the 21 of completion and a fresh approach and reproach of those from other worlds, and the 15 when feeling the shadow to catch your breath by hugging a tree or aligning your spine with the tree, and the Magician, the 1 to make a wish and blow to the 2 of the feminine, the little fairy butterfly girl, illumination helping the daughter move to the moon of her independence as he learns to ground and use his intent, the inner tent, not the outer one, as the 25 Knight of Wands and the blue baby blows a kiss to help keep your dreams alive. At 111 is this, again the 111 of the 1 to the 2, the 16 of inner truths, of sudden inner truths, and the 47 of laughter, of dreams in heaven on earth, to play and have fun and expand as the 1, the 12 of wisdom to reach out and touch someone, as the young buck and little girl riding them bring the man in to handfast with disappearing divine feminine in order to ground her into his world so she doesn't float away like a hot air balloon. At 114, the Magician and the Temperance card of the Angel, and the underlying energy of masks and crowns taken down in the dance for the sky bridge dreams to come true, in possibility for union of two with the central sun, in the hand, the 31, of holding the golden heart of life and the beat of the little drummer boy, who was Pinocchio, but got a new lease on life on the Fool's Journey, the 22, in the Fool's embrace, hugging them in child's pose all the way down. They never let go. At 118, the Magician and the Moon, where the first card out is the Horseman and the 30 of Union, who's ready to roll. The harbinger of change is to come. And then at 119, I went out for a walk for a bit, and I came back and I started again at 222. So the Horseman, number 30, again referencing inspiring me to go out and walk with my daughter and Teddy. And then the journey home, giddy up, as the sky dancers, Sophia, KY, or the energy of 0 point, and the surrender of the 48, 8 of Cups, walking away and within, to the 37 of the King of Cups, the Magician's sword, with confidence in their magic, to the truth of unconditional love. The 17 of the Dream and the Eye of the Needle of intention, the intent connection. Intuition is the in Twin Towers you and I connection, where the intention is the in Twin Towers Jesus Christ connection. It's kind of like that third flame reference of intention and intuition. The Twin Towers of you and I, the twin pillars, and the Twin Towers of the JC pillars of Jesus and connection. The clear focus of channel of the squinting eye. Aye, Capitan, of lucid dreams. And the cards were coming up as 121 and then 212. And the Sky Rider of the Fates, again, that the hourglass knocked on its side to become the infinity symbol, along with the K of energy, and the MF of the masculine and the feminine, and the finish line flags. The tiny dancer capping the flag, and longitudinal feathering across the land. The hourglass tipped over, energetically co-creating the M, which the capital M is the 2 ones with the V in the middle, the co-creation, and reflecting the F of Monday to Friday, of the divine masculine, divine feminine, to the finish line, or the gates, pinball gates, and flappers. And Pin Bill Gates then was coming up here. And then IJ was coming up, which is the internal jugular. And I saw that symbol earlier this week. There's something about it that came up again. But I don't remember the J being like a J. It was like a backwards J. But now it's coming up as the IJ. The IJ is the internal jugular. The jugular tickling sands of time on its side with blue feathered tail. The 49 of the 9 of Cups to get your wish. And the Drifter 14, patient and balanced, experiencing life as it comes with that higher love. Sailing in a tunnel or channel. In the perfect storm, the 44, and the courage to step into life. The raven peacock in the eagle's nest, dropping a black feather, which is so weird. We went to the pet store today, and on my way out, at the door of the pet store were 2 black feathers inside the door. A big black feather and then a smaller one with some white on it. And I just thought it was so odd. Like, why are these feathers inside this building? It was so strange. So, raven peacock in the eagle's nest, dropping a black feather, looks like my crystal holder of the purple Merkaba on it. So literally the picture of the eagle's perch here with the raven peacock kind of bird, it literally looked like my Merkaba right here, this purple one here on this brown stand here. The picture just looked just like that, and that bird was coming up as the purple Merkaba. And then I looked up twin flame JC for some reason, and the JC also looks like the vortex, right? Because it looks like the hourglass, the J and the C. It's just not perfectly centered, right? Which no word comes up for TFJC, but truck was the first thing that came up, which equals giving in to engage with forklift. With forklift is referencing the Y in the road, the rise. And also TFC stuff came up, like Toulouse and Toronto and teenage clubs. The Merkaba portal and the gym of Atlas, the grounding, integrating, and mastering of Atlas, the sacred geometry channeled from the eagle's perch. 491444 are the numbers that were coming up right here. 49 being the Get Your Wish card, and then 1444. The 39 of the Knight of Cups in Me Talks here with the Queen of Swords 52 straddling worlds. She in the tub and he holding it up. And again, that tub energy came up the other day as the 9/11 memorial and what was underneath it. And again, if you haven't watched Sam the Illusionist recently, he was just talking about what really happened on 9/11 and that the reptilians had actually made a portal to get through to steal the currency equipment that they were using from the Galactic Federation. But you might want to listen to his video. But it was coming up in my read as well, because right here I was getting Bill Gates connected to the reptilians in 9/11, and then I was getting some kind of weird connection with Will Smith, because Willow was also coming up. And again, this is coming up as she in the tub and he holding it up, as Bill Gates is connected to the reptilians in 9/11 in quote-unquote Trump Gate. And of course they were Trump Towers. The 24 cards here, which is the Queen of Wands and Omega, again the horseshoe, and at the bottom of it all was the 36 of Atlas and Lost in Space needing direction. At the top of it all was the 23 of Fortune's Wheel of luck and right timing at 255, which is the High Priestess, and the 55 of the Ace of Swords, which is here is where I brought up Sam, of luck and right timing and CERN. The King of Wands destiny, and the FW is coming up here. I'm getting fast forward, I don't know why, because it's not the abbreviation for that. The reflection of 2 U's, and at 310 is the abundance or the Empress of the 10 of destiny, and the King of Wands 23 event with the dream thief distraction. So again, 9/11 was supposed to be a distraction so you wouldn't see what was really going on, because if most of the public realized that there were reptilians there, because there was some found, according to Sam's video, then everybody would have been in mass hysteria, right? So the dream thief distraction, and the 13, which is the death toll of 9/11 and the transition of 9/11, now the same distraction techniques are being used by CERN, imprisonment and release, and Bill Gates, and Will of the Wisp was coming up. Again, Willow, but Will Smith was coming up as well. And the only thing I could find with their connection was Will Smith at his house, admiring his elemental wall, because there's a whole wall of the element, the elemental chart, and the periodic tables in the wall. And what also came up was Will's new movie, Gemini Man. And again, that can reference Gemini, but also the twins. Right? And that can be like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, because you're the Gemini twins. And I know both my parents are Geminis, so it can be like, the good cop, bad cop type of energies coming up there. And by the way, the movie that came up last night was Eyes Wide Shut. And I pulled some cards last night, and they were just all coming up, that movie, Eyes Wide Shut. So that was very significant energies there of the masculine energy learning to be humbled, his ego being humbled and crashed. And because he's so stubborn and so overconfident, the only way he can learn is by being in a situation like that, where not realize what he got himself into would potentially get his whole family killed, and now them being in fear for the rest of their lives. And that was the only way to get him to wake up, to let go of his ego of being a know-it-all. At July 10th, 22, And it was with the feminine in that movie too, because she was, you know, while he was out being the savior doctor, she was home, you know, playing with the kids and doing what she wants and getting high when they wanted to, and but she was also flirting with other men. So it was, again, the distortion of both the masculine and feminine in that movie. And the September 21st here, July 10th, 22 to 9/21, half Bill Gates invested in the company Picnic in the Netherlands, which is a grocery company. Put a lot of money into it, $500 million. And he's also invested in the low Earth orbit, which is the LEO satellite for the internet, as key since the 1990s. So that's something he invested in a long time ago. And this was Gates versus, or Gates' company for that was Kymeta, with a deal with Starlink, rival OneWeb. So he has his own company, but was also connected with Starlink. And that was 3/24/22 coming up. So, and of course you all know that Bill's divorce came through this year, August 22, this month. But also Wilson was coming up as I continue the read. And again, that references Will's son and Willow, and Castaway. And at 2:55 is the High Priestess and the Truth of Sam in the 9/11 attack, to distort the minds of the Starseeds at the Trade Center, a subdivision of entities working for a decentralized currency secret. But I don't want to, you know, I want you to listen to his video. But what he brought up was the name of the machine, which is so important because the word articulation has come up so much, you know, if you watch my videos, because every time I talk about the two pages coming together, we talk about the binding or the articulation. And the device that he named in his channeling was the Articulation Ascension Machine, which is the one that the Federation had gifted us to change our currency system, which the reptilians were supposed to have come through that day and stolen. 1/13/2000 was when Bill Gates stepped down as Microsoft CEO, and that was Forbes.com. From HuffPost.com on 7/30/14, a shipwreck was found under the World Trade Center, traced back to colonial era Philadelphia, which, you know, the big shipyard was in Philadelphia at the airport, where the airport is now. The ship was found at 22 feet below sea level, and as now it became the underground security and parking complex. They found a mangled skeleton of a long-forgotten wooden ship, and they were able to, in this article, identify its approximate age on 7/30/14, that it was likely from 1773 or shortly after, in a small shipyard near Philadelphia, because it was made of white oak like Independence Hall. And they weren't sure how it happened, whether the ship sank or it ended up being part of landfill. But yeah, it's kind of weird. So how did that ship get under New York? Right, the island part, not the water part. How did it get under there? All right, because we're just talking a few hundred years ago. We're not talking about thousands of years ago. So the King of Wands 23 and the Transition 13 to the Prison 62 of treasures in the shadows and finding these odd things. The 24 of the Queen of Wands and the Galactic Mushroom, right, the room where you can be mushy, and the Divine Matrix of Wilson, like the soccer ball in Castaway, and the Coconut Head or the Islands. The 51 of the King of Swords and Stars in the Sky, and the dreams in the Sophia KY, or the energy at 0 point. So and right at that moment at 3:37, it was the Empress and the King of Cups. I just looked over again and I noticed my dad smiling on my coffee cup again, which I never noticed that, and it's the second time in 2 days. And then Gemini man was coming up, and my dad was Gemini, and so was my mom. And then Libra was coming up as well, because Will Smith is Libra, and Philadelphia Story and The Experiment, right, all about the ship in the big shipyard, because during the Philadelphia experiment, this was the major hub for building ships. It was a huge shipyard then. That's where the airport is now. So it's not the same little one they were talking about there. But that's where the ship was, you know, taken into another dimension and then came back with all the people, you know, in the ship's walls and things like that. And the ones that did survive all ended up in a mental institution. The 36 of the Atlas energy of the Ten of Wands and the weight of the world, and being lost in space and needing direction here, right? After so much work and not being able to do it anymore, right? You're losing it. The 45 of the purge and the repairing of the veil of forgiveness, and the articulation, ascension machine, a tunnel, a channeled portal, boring into the ground at 0 point, New York's tunneling system. So again, not only 9/11, but the tunneling system down there. There's a whole bunch of tunnels all throughout New York and going up the East Coast as well, up to the northern states there, and down, I'm sure, as well. But it's coming up as the needle and the thread, and then the Space Needle in Seattle came up. And so I looked that up. April 21st, 22 was their 60 years grand opening for the Space Needle in 1962. And 62 is the prison, right? It's the Eight of Swords. The tunnel boring into ground zero. Bill Gates lives in Seattle. And I was getting another CERN machine in Seattle below the, which they don't admit to. They only admit to the CERN as being the big one there. There's others of some of those machines in a few other locations, but they don't give them up. I think there's one in Chicago. I remember someone saying that. But I'm getting one connected to Bill Gates in Seattle, beneath the Space Needle, which is connected to one of the islands out there, and I was getting Bainbridge Island, but also from Emerald Palate.com or Palette.com. It's Palate. They were listing 10 islands near Seattle. So, and then the electric flashed. My electricity flashed at 3:51, which is the Empress and the King of Swords. I don't know what sign Bill Gates is. Wait, let me look that up real quick. Yeah, there's something about, wait a second. The two of them going into totally different energies. Let's see what his birthday is. All right, so he's Scorpio. He's October 28th, 1955, which is a day away from my son, actually. And he's 66, okay. October 28th is actually my son's birthday, but he was 4 hours late, so he's born on the 29th. It's funny, too, because I remember I went to a psychic before my son was born, and she said if he was born early by the 10th of October that he could very well be president, which was a really strange thing to hear. But he wasn't born until the 29th. And he's so not anyone who'd want to be the president, let alone take that route. So at 8:15:22, at 8:08 here, was talking about how the West Coast residents should prepare for a threat of a tsunami. At the risk of tsunami after an earthquake that's at least 7.5. In the Puget Sound, that area could engulf Seattle's shoreline under 20 feet in minutes if a tsunami came in. So then 61 came up, which again is the risk card of the Seven of Swords, but it's also coming up as the year I was born, matching my birthday this year, with the whale song resonating, the portals and arcs, the 10 of the wheel, and the deep diver, the risk to dive deep, with the 7 of the chariot and the sacred covenant, unwritten, the divine feminine within the masculine in the 5D connection, the 58 of the Four of Swords, and the vanishing mirror, to crash particles together in the ego sublimation. So they keep bringing this up over and over again, that the twin flames are CERN. We're the living example of the particles being smashed together until they stick. They're showing it's the same reference. And this is another time lime came up, because finger limes were coming up. The 16 of the Tower and sudden events, the empty well with sudden need to replenish and fill up. The 59 of the 11th hour and the war within, of the wailing tree and reconciliations, the inner war. And the dancing on one foot here of the hermit in the balancing act, the green moth bridging with the tree that's starving, right? The family tree that's starving in the inner war of the family tree. And the 2 of the beloved, and here I'm getting Melinda Gates as well, the 2 of the divine feminine beloved and the hearts on fire, with a radical acceptance of the 32 of the journey, the jeweled web of connectivity on the journey. And jeweled comes up in a very interesting way too, because it's the Jew, L, and then ED for Mr. Ed, extra dimensional. And Melinda was then coming up with the seahorse, the sea's horse. And then Pegasus came up, and Pegasus software is that software that, breaks into other people's messages and things like that. A threat to cybersecurity, 8/18/21, from JUSCORPUS.com. And Pegasus reporters came up as well on 5/5/21, where Bill Gates loses his billionaire rank status in his divorce, when they first announced it, I guess. The Pegasus software was marketed through Israeli Intel, but through the company NSO, which there's a strong indication here that it's actually spyware from the Chinese. And in the article, they were wondering why Israel would partner up with the Chinese in this sense, and that was from the conservative treehouse.com. At 4:16 is the Emperor and the Tower, the journey of the shadow web, the dust devil, moving out of stagnation. The beloved jeweled web, again the Jew, EL, L, the Elohim, and the extra dimensionals, the Jew, Elohim, extra dimensional web, the beloved, the divine feminine journey through the shadow of the 42, the 2 of Cups, the net caster, where her preparations have now come to fruition, the whispering bench of the starfish, or the doublet of the star, now at this moment. The 50 of the spirit of the river, and emotional fulfillment and flowing with the tide, after the distraction in the prison, causing them to be lost in space or spaced out, the articulation portal deep down, the open-ended contract to smash particles until it's time to replenish when the sudden event of the purge comes up, reaching out to support via the web, the Jew Elohim extra-dimensional web, or the grid, the perfect storm to cast a net for the perfect catch, the 50 of complete emotional fulfillment, and the 6 of the lovers, the cosmic womb of the divine feminine, to retrieve the deep divers from the cosmic womb, the woodwives, which are the branches of the trunk that stem out with the trunk, though, not as above the trunk as its branches, but as its parts. It's just extensions of itself. The woodwives, 64 of the 10 of Swords, and the adaptable creatures to the Garden of Venus, the 25 of the Knight of Wands for rest and renewal and inspiration. At 4:27, the Emperor, and again the Ace of Wands of passion, the 4 of the Emperor, and this is coming up again as the card, and the caterpillar opportunity here. And then the shape of Seattle came up because the inlet of Seattle right there, and my brother lives above there near Canada. It's literally coming up as the Y in the road, but it also looks like a penis into a vagina there, coming into the Seattle inlet there, the way Vancouver Island enters that inlet there. But it's also coming up as the Y in the road. And that's where Bill Gates is. Like it's like, the Trump Gate and the Bill Gates. So New York and Seattle, there's some kind of connection to the underground energies there. And as we turn the page, and remember where the COVID stuff started was Wuhan, China, which is Wu and then Han. So Han Solo is coming up again with that, as well as the Han Chinese. At 4:27 is the Emperor and the Ace of Wands as the twisted cat from that cat ER pillar or caterpillar. The twisted cat or curvature of the spine, the signing pillar, the 19 of the sun, and the falling angel of those patterns I told you before, 1, 2, and 1, and then 2, 1, 2, reflecting each other. One falls in the sun while the other is straddling worlds to hold it up, right? It's like keeping it open while they do their work. The space to fall, with cannonball run to the left and then to the right. The 3D fool's journey and the 5D journey to the sun. The cognizance of 3 mutables as Pisces holds the worlds together. And the mutables can go back and forth between. So the 3 other mutables besides Pisces, because Pisces is like the goalie holding the worlds open while they do what they're supposed to do. So the journeyman at 434, the Emperor and the energetic exchange of the 8 of Wands, the journeyman and the hermit on the Fool's journey together, of Saint Dolphin who's with you now as the King of Wands and the Knight of Wands. It's worth it to skywrite and get your wish. The Emperor's fall to the 2 of Cups to make her blush orange. Within the Sky Dancers, surrender to the drifters. Sophia's KY, dancers, and Dr. Iftar, breaking or fasting or evening meal, as the message of the Page of Swords and the Knight of Cups, King of Cups connection is inspired by coolness as opposed to the fire, and the grounding, integrating, and mastering of the perfect storm in the eagle's nest, which came up earlier by accident in this read. The perfect storm in the eagle's nest. The tunnels below and the eagle's nest above at the same time. The ice castles and the sword of the eagle. The King of Cups is perch. The Knight of Cups is castle, which can be a father and son reference as well. And that was Willow, but Willow is his daughter. And that Knight of Cups can be a girl, it doesn't have to be a boy. So it's referencing that Will and his daughter Willow, the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups, the perch and the castle, the diminished gateway of the 2 diamond gateway of the number 33 to union, the 30 of the union adventure through the eye of the needle in Metox. And Metox is coming up, and that card reminds me of my sister-in-law who's near Seattle. At 443, which is the Emperor and the 3 of Cups coming together. And then finishing this off at 444, which is the angelic realms. And again, another CERN over there. So any of you guys know anything about this kind of stuff, please add it in the comments. So then it was weird because I went online again to see what was coming up. And the site that came up was JudyRosenbergCeramics.com, right? An odd place to find that kind of information. But in her site, it said around 30,000 accelerators worldwide. And then there's a lot of Hadron colliders, but not the setup that CERN is, because that has a lot of different machines. There are lots of hadrons around the world. I think they said around over 100. But the 2 pieces they listed as CERN were both CERN. One was just the old CERN and then the new CERN. So CERN is 8 accelerators and 2 decelerators. And there's that number 8 too, again, which is a reflection of the 28 of the twins. The Hadron, there is a company called Hadron Creative LLC in Seattle, Washington. And Hadron was coming up with Multiverse and the blockchain-powered AI ecosystem for all, and that was a company in the UK. All right. So, and then at 5:29, the lights flickered again at 5:29, and I knew they were having some issues, but I didn't know about that until after this read. So 5:29 is the Hierophant and the 29 of the 3 of Wands. And then, like I said, I did some cards last night, but it was all about Eyes Wide Shut. And it's very dark energy, as if you remember, if you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you might want to watch it just to understand the energies behind that. So now this read from this morning was very significant as well in a whole different way, but it brought some of those same energies back in again. So this was done at 11:11 this morning. now, the inner child. So again, I did a short meditation right before I started. And that was at 11:11 here where I started. Again, where I told you the other day that the number 9 is the smaller 0, but the bigger 1, the capital 1 and the small 0, because the 1 is the 0, it's just wrapped up in a ball. And that same energy came up here when I went into the inner child. They were showing me the feminine was the line and the masculine was the ring around her, and he was going up and down clearing her constantly. I saw the divine masculine wrapping themselves around the divine feminine over and over, clearing. And then I saw a little girl with a dog, and a video had come up on my feed this morning about a dog and a deer family that were friends, and they were so sweet. But here was coming up the little girl and the dog, which is referencing the same thing, the deer one and the dog. So happy to see each other, right? Kind of like, the different species loving each other. They've been friends for 11 years, and the deer literally comes up to the door to knock on the door to see the dog. It's so cute. And it was a rescue deer. It wasn't a typical deer, but it was in the wild. They didn't keep it domesticated. The connection to God here was very significant coming up as well, that there's no need for anyone to prove anything to God, only to love self as you are in this moment. And I cut the decks already, the Metatron, Nature's Whispers, and Shaman decks at 11:6 to 8 before I went into that 11:11 meditation. And the Authentic Self 46 came up, which is the inner children. Being True to Yourself 26, which is the Page of Wands, and the Drifter, which is 14, or that Temperance card of that higher love of patience and balance. And the Inner Child Atlas, Page of Wands, light bulb of the womb of the Authentic Self. We're beginning the read here, but let me show you the read first. I had to get something off my phone as well. Okay. All right, so here we have, this is the read I'm presenting now. Sorry about the blanket fluff on the phone. It doesn't want to come off. And just a little bit closer up so you can see the details on the cards. Same format as the first one. Okay. Okay. So at 11:21, which is Justice and the World, or Completion, the first card out was being grounded to the Earth's core and to the central sun, clearing loved ones. The 35 of the Wounded Warrior and the Kundalini rising and release, and water, water, water for emotional well-being in the Dolphin's chariot. The dolphin is the water chariot, or the ship, and the bird is coming up as the chariots of fire, or the plane. Both spaceships, the icosahedron, where I matter and honor self, and release fire and drink water for emotional well-being. The silver card of the number 30, which is the union, the Four of Wands, and the warrior of light, the fanning of the flame, the hydrating of the body. And notice that hydrating comes up Hydra. All right, water and hydrating the body is Hydra. And hydrate is Hydra plus TE, and TE is the moral man. You can't get rid of so easily. 2 heads for every one. The freshwater polyps with naked cylindrical body, the divine masculine today, and an oral opening surrounded by tentacles and doesn't age. A dragon-like creature with many heads that regrow when they're chopped off. And get this dragon is only slain by Hercules, her harvest. A complex, multifarious problem that can't be solved easily or rapidly. 7 heads of the monstrous chariot heads, and it also is the water snake or mythical serpent, which comes up as the feminine, and the Kundalini. So the Kundalini, snake, and the dragon are coming up here as the masculine and the feminine. The spring constellation of the northern sky, or the serpent, with the star Alphard, which is Alp and hard. And here the Alps is where CERN is, where the three Alps come together, of Italy, France, and Switzerland. One of Pluto's moons is also Alphard, or Alpard. The Saronic Greek island is also the name of that. And breaking down Hydra is the hide, which is the skin, hiding, or to go quickly, until, or length. And of course, Ra is the sun god, the skin of Ra. Until Ra, the length of Ra, to go quickly, or Ray. Ray is to go quickly, to expand quickly. So literally, Hydra means hide and seek. And then star here was coming up as well as the ST of the path and the AR as opposed to the RA. Today, the path of AR, the reflection of Ra, the gold treasure, the gem, the precious white, yellow, bright, blonde light. I plow, feeling of shame. The male maple, he scar. Mouth, sorry, sad, regrettable. And then sledge came up. And then Sister Sledge came up. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? So that was coming up. And it's weird because I never would think of Sister Sledge, but this second time it came up, and then this definition was sledge. So Sister Sledge and Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? And furthermore, and this is like the masculine talking to you, furthermore, in addition, never, and it's like they're talking to themselves, and then, damn it, must what, have to, whatever, says all, and then the all comes up, AWL, which I just brought up for you guys. And the number 2, and these are all definitions of AR. With, whether, if, and, here, upon, over, fire, and disgrace, will and grace. The argon, honor, glory, and grace. The ore, the brass, copper, and the messenger, heralding the angel, the missionary, because of air, hour, year. 2, aura, air, think, are the eagle, feeling shame, or, and then it was just ellipsis, ... The Queen of Wands, butterfly, and easy 2 cups. In the 2 for all and all for 2, the numbers. The all, which is the butterfly, and the pointed instrument for making holes, the AWL, and also means easy. The Queen of Wands, butterfly, and easy 2 of cups, of the soulmates coming together. At 12:08, which is the hanging man and the 8 of the dance, of manifestation of your dreams, where remember the Hydra constellation is below Corvus and Virgo, the Virgin, and Leo, which stars Regulus, and Leo, the satellites, of course. 1 star in Hydra is Jupiter's ghost, and it reminded me of that song of Ghost. I forget the name of the group. But below Hydra is the southern owl, Nebula, and the head of the snake is Ashleisha, which is ash, which is bright light, and Lisha, and lesh is leaf. So Hydra is below or next to Procyon, which is part of that winter triangle of Orion and Betelgeuse and Bellatrix, and the twins above the shoulders. And in this one site that I had been guided to a couple weeks ago that I told you about, where the dragon was not Draco, but the dragon was the Taurus area next to Orion, breathing fire, where the tip of its tail is the Pleiades. And that's the dragon I'm talking about here, who's right next to Orion. And I think that Aldebaran is part of that, and the tail is the Pleiades right there. But it literally looks like a dragon breathing fire up to where the twins are in another smaller gate to the gate that the twins make, with those 2 stars at the top. And those are all above Betelgeuse and Bellatrix in Orion, but also the winter triangle where Sirius is below, and then Procyon's off to the left where Hydra is. And the head of Hydra, which references the gamma star there too, and the gamma rays at the head of the Hydra. So another word for Lisha, or Lesha, with accents over it, was 10,000. And lesh is the leaf or the wool, again referencing the skin, the fleece. So Ashlesha is the light of the skin that sheds, of course, in the snake, like the leaf sheds from the tree. Hydra is the kundalini of Jupiter, Jupiter's ghost, the skin that sheds and transforms itself, but the etheric body of Jupiter, the bright light or flame fanned by the eagle, the Aquila constellation and Altar, and the dragon that I just described to you that's right next to Orion. The silver sword in the sun's light on the moon, the sun reflecting the word via the moon daughter, the father's daughter, his mouthpiece. Boundaries are set daily here on the path to find the auric key. The Hydra hydrates, right? So hydrate is Hydra and TE, the moral man. The Kundalini rising with water, and the dragon with air that you breathe. So again, they're connecting the feminine with the water that your body is made of, and the air that you breathe, right? So you drink water, but you breathe the air, which is being referenced to the dragon and the masculine. And then again at 12:43, which is the hanging man and the Three of Cups of coming together, again the song was coming up. I am the mountain, I am the tall tree, right? So that was coming up from R. Kelly. And I didn't realize he was going through stuff. I didn't know anything about him, but I guess he's in prison for whatever he did as far as abuse with underage children, from what my daughter told me. But the song was coming up, and it made me cry, actually. There's a very strong spirit connection coming through during that song. I am the river in the valley. I am the vision to see clearly. I am the star. I am the giant. I am the eagle and the lion. I am the marching band, I am the people, and I am the helping hand. I am the world's greatest. So again, that was Spirits connecting with me again. At 12:47, the hanging man and the synchronicities of the 47, the Seven of Cups, of heaven in your eyes, of Hydra hydrating with water, and the dragon drags on the air in. The HD of the Hydra and the dragon, or high definition or high dimension, the diamond connection, the shaman's truth, and the lyran's muse, and the lyran's coming up as the lie who ran, and the shaman's truth, and the muse of the inner child on the fool's journey, where the shaman offers the peace pipe flute, and the lyran, Saint Dolphin, is the ether energy of the lyra, or the harp, the small harp, the FL of the flute, and the lyra and which is the flame, FL, the lyran's truth, and the LT, which is lyran's truth, the LT, which is the light feeding that flame to make it higher, the divine feminine in the divine masculine ascending, the chariots of fire and water from land to air. As the steam of fire and water rises into the air fans the land, drying the water, and then fanning the flame again to keep it going in that slow burn. Elementary, my dear Watson, referencing the watt of electricity and the sun, and then Magher, Magher, which references the magnetism of her, which is the lean cook, cooking up something to draw you in, as the magnet to Procyon, the proton descendant. A proton's magnetic movement arises, or magnetic moment arises, and this is from medium dot artage.org. This is definition. A proton's magnetic moment arises from a fundamental quantum property called spin, which causes the proton to behave as a tiny bar magnet with a north and south pole. Its spin can either align with the field or flip to orient against the field, so it can go either way. And it was bringing in the Nightmare Before Christmas mayor, right, where his head spins around, right? He's part of the establishment, right? Yes or no answers. His happy face and his sad face. So, so Procyon is coming up as the proton's magnetic moment, right? Because normally you'd think of the electrons being magnetized, but here was the relationship between the magnet and the proton. The protons spin is the connection here, because they can connect on one side, or they can decide not to connect on the other side. The 107 of the Magician and the 7 of the Chariot, the flute of the Pro and the Lyran Muse, magnetizing proliferation of that which is stubborn or can be resistant to change. At 109, the Magician and the Hermit, with 25 cards of the Knight of Wands and the Emerald Order of the Knight of Cups of Thanksgiving and Heaven in your eyes, having lots of choices and blessings and thanks. And the 51 of the King of Swords, the pure king, the diamond wing on the journey from orange to gold, the orange of aura, the aura of unity, and the gold, which is the God, the ancient one. The 32 of the journey to the Queen of Swords, 52, and the building blocks for life of proliferation, that she has the ability to give life. Procyon. Procyon has to do with their legacy. Proliferation and the rainbow fire that requires the air to flame. The 11 of alignment of the wake-up clarion call to flip to the other pole and come together in the 43 to receive healing and be held by the mother. The 29 of being present in the moment with serious alignment of blue. I am the mountain, I am the tall tree, as it keeps going. The 44 of the grounding, integrating, and mastering of receiving of love, fed by the ocean that lights me up, the energy of the waves and the signs, the instigator, the trigger, the mountain to resist, and thus lighting up like an orgasm. The Queen of Wands of the 24, stretch and lunge to release the excess fire, and the 4 of the Emperor to let go of control, that is time for release in the fall. The 15 of the shadow, and showering in the platinum diamond light for clarity on that shadow. The Knight of Swords 53 catapults the key to freedom through your family. And I'm getting, we are family. I got all my sisters and me. All right, so the 50 of emotional fulfillment, right? The peak of emotional fulfillment, of signs with love, and the 12 of the Hanging Man and wisdom, opening a page to review. The 41 of reflection to love, in high vibe number 10 of destiny of the new dawn, which dawn is the Dan with 2 U's. Traverse, which is the tray in the verse, the cap on the verse of the V of the diamond in the core of us, the chorus, the cap on the verse and the core of us in the chorus, keeping from peaking until all tapped out. And then getting your wish with family meet and greet at the pinnacle, right? In the song, where it peaks, and then to the decrescendo at the end, just like a story. The Page of Cups evolution, birthing a new heart, an energetic exchange with your ancestors with double diamond, 28 twin flame stars. Twinkle, twin key, little star. Packs a wallop as 2 muffin tops come together to dream and conquer their fears. The Hermit takes action as the bird settles down, as the chariots of fire and water heat up, with the 25 Knight of Wands, passion for life, and cooling off in the sunset by the water in that steamy, slow burn, to purge each day where you are held by reflection of the ancestors in calm passion or compassion. At the underlying energies of the next deck was 123, the 1-2-3 jump of the 1 of the Magician, the 23 of the King of Wands. The underlying energy of the daughter pausing to touch the father tree of the Emperor before moving on, of the 12 and hanging out, moving on to her beloved, 17 of wisdom and expansion of dreams with infinite blessings of the 26, the Page of Wands, to be inspired to be true to your heart in that Page of Wands, which is that energy of your womb, the inner child. The one, which the first card here, which is the number 2 of the Divine Feminine illumination, of the butterfly, of the 2 and the 4 and the all, or the owl, right? So it's 2 for all and owl for 2. 2 for butterflies and wise owl for 2. The dark side of the moon is the daughter. The 14 of the allowance of patience and balance and a higher love. And the 16 of the sudden epiphanies about the mother and daughter, the husband and wife, and both with their animals of unconditional love. The 46 of the inner and outer loving children and pets of gratitude and appreciation, destined to open your heart to Swan Lake. At 132, the Magician and the Journey, or the Journeyman, and the 16 cards, the 16 of the Tower again, and the top down from the 22 of the Leap of Faith to the Purge of the 45. And Elan Vitale was coming up again from Edgar Cayce. To become empowered. So a purging in order to become empowered each day. And the 49, to heighten your vitality. So there's the vitality again. Of the 39, Knight of Cups, which Elon Musk is Cancer. So that can reference Elon and the vitality here. In the clear endeavor, ending emotional attachments, will, spring, and the raft, which all are conditions. A clear endeavor here of the Knight of Cups to end conditions of love, with the 38 Queen of Cups in acceptance of love, in coming together with the 43 and the 3 of Cups where love matters, as the bird opens up, and the 18 of new experiences and possibilities, in seeing the mother ride Mr. Ed, which is a horse of course, but also the extra dimensional or God, and the 5 of change and freedom and clearing out the old, of the 41 of being in service of love, to achieve that 50 of emotional fulfillment, the potential gateway of the tree with a heart, of the little chariot to follow in your footsteps, or ripples of the ancient ones to amp up your emotions and pay it forward. The 6 of the lovers and love, family, and community, and the big picture of love. The 18 of shifting the energy. Or that may be the 19 there, because we just had the 18 card. The 19 of shifting your energy of the sun with the mothership. The 37 of the King of Cups in unconditional love. In action, but remember you are the mothership, right? You have lots of life on you. The 35 of the wounded warrior in the culmination of their vision. They are complete in their wounded warrior mission of the 3D. Ground zero, as blue baby blows kisses, and the 25 of the Knight of Wands with their slow burn is here to ignite your fire and keep your dreams alive. The underlying energy at 140 is the Magician and the Page of Cups. After the storm, the energy of the 15, and sex is coming up here, with the 63 of the gestation period of the pregnancy, the period of pregnancy, where the chariot vehicle of deliverance is unwritten, the sacred covenant of the 44, or the 3D experience of the perfect storm, where a child is born, to the 25 of the Knight of Wands in the Garden of Venus, of rest and renewal, in order to inspire, or in other words, to cause to breathe, right? When you birth, you take a deep breath. The 14 of that higher love, of the drifter just sailing and floating along swimmingly with calm emotions or compassion, from the Knight of Wands to the Temperance card, which are both Sagittarius, the higher love of passion. At 144 here now, with the 1, the 49 of self-satisfaction and sacred geometry and skywriting. Sky is the Sophia's K and Y, the energy at 0 point to get your wish, which is happiness with oneself. The 33 of the 4D is a joyful muse, now the divine feminine inspiration. The music of the muse of the inner child is to breathe in deeply and cross that bridge. The 2 of the High Priestess, beloved, with their heart on fire in radical acceptance of the 52 Queen of Swords, who's straddling both worlds to keep the bridge open, the mother and daughter, and the son's passion for tidy house and passionate heart home with compassion or calm passion. The divine feminine Queen of Swords and the divine masculine flame, she the light that fans his height. The 3D heart on fire to the 5D bridging of both worlds, the 3D expectations, and the 5D heart home of inspiration and compassion. At 150 of the magician and the 50 of that emotional fulfillment, we're 15 cards here now, which is the shadow, the dragon's hoard of hanging out and being wise. But Atlas 36 here can require some need for directions. But you know how guys are, and they never want to ask. But the 44 is the Emperor here with an opportunity here to ask, to twist and turn and follow the signs and wave as the 46 root girl starts over, whole, with first breath of beginner's mind, the 16 of the tower and the sudden empty well. That sudden inspiration is that sudden time to need to fill up, to well up, sudden knowings and stirrings and visions of dreams in the eye of the needle, the space needle, boring under. And this is literally a picture of like the space needle boring down under the ground into like a CERN energy. The 53 of the Knight of Swords and the stranger who's curious to dive deeper, destined to discern. The 35 of the Wounded Warrior who lost their way, and the 64 of the Woodwives adopting the bliss, or adapting to bliss and fortune's wheel that will take you there. At 154, the Magician and the message of the Page of Swords, just like a prayer. The Woodwives between the compass and the wheel, right? It's like being on the ship, right? Between the compass and the wheel, right? The hands are on the wheel, your eyes are on the compass. The Wounded Warrior and the King of Wands, the 3D and the 5D, the time and space, the Fool's Embrace, the 22 of the Child's Pose journey with now new skin and wings, as the 42 Two of Cups netcaster 4-2, where their preparations have come to fruition in the fruit connection, catch their fish. The 41 of the Moon Maiden with new beginnings, now holding up her own sphere. Hercules, her harvest. At 158, the Magician and the Four of Swords of the 5D connection, and the fall rise that in the spring becomes the rose, or the risen. So there are your two messages of the day. And now we go back to the read on the table. And I'm getting, I am the mountain again. Oh, by the way, not only are the black feathers that I see in the store, when we went on our walk yesterday, I kept seeing the same small little white feathers, which I never see them. And I saw more than one feather, but the same feather in totally different places on the same walk. And then Teddy ran into another dog who was born 10 days from him. And the 3 crows were walking down the street again. I was with my daughter. She saw them, and they keep doing that. 3 crows keep coming out on my street and walking down the street, and I keep wanting to say, here they come, walking down the street. So the monkeys are coming up, but the beetles come up with that too, because they do the walk across the crosswalks. The monkeys and the beetles. So again, the monk keys and Beetlejuice. And when I saw the 3 crows, one flew off to the left into the woods, and the other 2 went off on the street to the right into the driveways. They were checking things out. It was funny. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the 7-deck read, which is a pretty quick one. It's not long. All right, so, and this was actually the night of the 15th, all right? So not last night, but the night before, going into the next day. And this was at 7:52. The SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt. And here is the read, with the lovers in the middle of the read. Okay. And then the full read with all the seven deck clarifiers here. Excuse me. So this was cut at 7:52, which is the Chariot and the Queen of Swords, which 52 is written that way, 52/7. At 8:02 is the dance of the 2 of the High Priestess or Divine Feminine and the empowerment of manifesting dreams. And R of chalices was coming up, so R. Kelly's coming up again. And let me look up what came up about him. There must be something new that came up about R. Kelly, so let's see. What came up with R. Kelly? Okay, federal judge denies R. Kelly's request over his child pornography and obstruction of justice, I guess. Let's see here. So this is all 4 hours. This is literally now. These are all coming. That was 17 hours ago. But then there's 3 more news flashes came up 4 hours ago, 6 hours ago, and 49 minutes ago. R. Kelly's fiance says she's pregnant with his child, claims his lawyers wanted her to get an abortion. Kelly sexually assaulted minors and paid witnesses to cover up evidence, and focused on the singer's quote-unquote dark side. Prosecutors say in opening statements, ... But you can read on. But that's, I said, whenever someone comes up for me, it's because there's something very active in the news regarding the Ascension, and obviously this has to do with child abuse, and eyes wide shut. So R of chalices, R. Kelly of emotions, and remember, hurt people hurt people. So it's not to excuse it, but to anyone who's victimized by someone like that, you need to forgive for yourself so that you can be free to be happy. And Alice's were also come up, and Alice's is one of the machines, the Alice's machine in CERN at 8:02. At 8:13, I finished clarifying. I don't know if Alice has to do with R. Kelly as well. It could be. There could be an Alice involved there too. Alice's. I finished clarifying at 8:13, which is the dance, the manifestation of dreams, and the 13 of transition, with the lovers and abundance, indigo, star, starseed. So abundance is the empress in this deck, and the indigo is the magician. The starseed is the fool, and before the read, karma is judgment, and after the read was the solar deity, which is the sun. There were 2 swords, 2 pentacles, and 2 cups. So we had 222 here again, as 222 came up as one of the times in the reads today as well. And the 2 is the divine feminine, the 22 is the fool's journey, the 222 is the 6 of love, family, and community. And the Queen of Swords came up as the main player with the King of Cups, which is unconditional love, and she's the Lady of Light. Before the read was the King of Swords, the Man of Light, or the Pure One. And then we have the 9 of Pentacles, Sovereign, in the read, or right after the read, along with the Page of Wands, which is coming up as that seed or the baby in the womb. But it also could be a child, of course. We have 22 and 44 as the double numbers, the journey, and the 44 of grounding, integrating, and mastering, how to receive love, of that Atlas energy of more like a social worker in numerology, the divine triangle. Because Atlas in the Tarot is the 10 of Wands. We also have 24 of the Queen of Wands, 23 of the King of Wands, which have been coming up a lot lately. The 45 of the Purge, 5 of Cups. The 68 of the Page of Pentacles, the Perpetual Student of Life. The 89 of the Phi energy of expanding, contracting, or staying in the middle, reflecting instead. The 8, 9, 10, begin again. And the 56 of the 2 of Swords of being in your knowing for peace of mind, or to keep your energy clear, or pretending not to know. The code line here is all about the number 42, which is a 6, and that's the 2 of Cups. It's all about abundance and time out, which was broken up into ABU and N dance. The capital N for me is the Christ vibration and the dance. And then time out was coming up as tie me out. And TI is source energy. So source me out. The source of the mulberry tree without pink, for LSA, which is Ergine or Ergine, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's Celtium, which equals Lutetium, which is tortoise shell. Also, source abundance for 2 of the crystal T, or time out. It's coming up as like a mulberry tree. There's some kind of there's different things about trees and plants coming up in these reads. There was a plant I remember reading about. It has, toxic qualities in it that are like a hallucinogen, that are just, normal plants around. But the mulberry tree is coming up here, but not the one with pink or rosé, pinkish, but a mulberry tree without any pink on it. a source abundance for 2 of crystal tea. And tea can be the tree as well. Tea tree can be coming up as well. But the tree, and that, again, Trump could be coming back in to the messages here. And then LSA is lysergic acid amide or acidamide, the hallucinogen alkaloid in certain vines or fungi. And again, it's ergine or ergine, E-R-G-I-N-E. But also light sport aircraft comes up. And then the name Tim came up for speak. And then Sacramento is coming out without the O, which is the sacrament. The sacrament. Tim, speak. The sacrament. The Sophia source or path to be. The Empress and their abundance. The Emperor and their reason. Juggling performers in time out here. Perhaps where the Fool speaks. The source M of the co-creation. The bag, the sat, the goat skin. So again, this shedding of the skin is coming up here. And the time out with Sophia in sourcing the Empress and the Emperor of crystal tea. Source 2 bags or 2 teas and tea tree, and Trump were coming up again. And the teaspoon source of abundant reason of purging time out. And again, Tim coming up as that. I don't know if that Tim is an acronym for something as well, but Tim was coming up being crazy about the ball. In other words, or ditto, the source Empress, to source the Empress for daily grind in time out. And Tim is also source mountain and time out of the I am presence. And again, the ball's coming up, and remember the story about the ball the other day, all about the balls. But the ball, oh, that's so funny too, because I washed Teddy's toys today, and the first thing he took out was his colored tennis ball. Yes, I'm talking about you. He's going to get it. That's so funny. So, you hear him playing with it? You're so smart, Teddy. How did you know I was talking about that? He's playing with it now. Hey, bring it over. Bring it. You can come in. Come here. It's okay. Here, show everybody. Here, bring it up here. Up here. Come closer to me. Come. Come here. Come here. Anyway, he won't come. He knows he's not supposed to come back here when I'm doing my reads. So here's his pink tennis ball. It's red and green. Here you go. All right, let me do my video now. I don't know if you could see him or not, but I couldn't get him all the way to the screen. So there's the ball for you. And he is very smart. He's very graceful. Like, he kind of amazes me in his movement. He's pretty surprising. I got him to slap me 5 the other day. I turned away to go, and he didn't want me to leave. And I put my hand back for a high five, and he gave me a high five. All right, so Tim speak in the sacrament, that coming up, and Tim being the source of the mountain and the time out for the I am presence. In other words, to source the Empress, the mother, for the daily grind, the time, and take time out. This is a very feminine energy. And the abundant time out, the way it was broke down, was coming up into the light of the chariot dance, or the father's shadow, the older man once. The source co-creation of one equal and congruent to out. The turtle father, the older man, or NDA, which could be a new device, I think it's new device application or drug application probably, but each other as well or besides, sourcing me out of here or there. So again, the polarities, and the shadow of Christ dance to source me out was coming up from the messages there. The shadow of the Christ dance, so going from the shadow to source, and then me out. So again, bringing the polarities together to bring them to the middle, so that you can get a break, right? And I'm getting, what's the fast food you can get a break today? Okay, a break today. Is that McDonald's? At McDonald's? I can't think of it, but it's kind of like getting that time out, getting a break from all that craziness, from the shadow to the source dance, to source me out. But however that comes to you, take that as the message. The Four of Swords is reversed, and beneath it is the Ten of Cups, and it was just 3-4-4. 1-3-4-4. The Magician, the energetic exchange, and then the 44 of grounding, integrating, and mastering how to receive love. And underneath the Four of Swords reversed, which is the awakened one, the Ten of Cups reversed, the King of Swords upright, the Six of Wands upright, the Five of Swords upright, and Karma upright. The unhappy family of the King of Swords upright, and again, here's the energy of the bottom of the deck with the mini cards on top there. The unhappy family of the King of Swords, who's upright, leading the way to face their fears and a wake-up call to make a decision, unable to sleep, to research something, of awakening or coming out about it. The High Priestess not sleeping or stressed and suffering in silence, and the Queen of Wands is upright, making a big purchase or expensive vacation, or taking all they have to call out or wake up the dark night, to manifest with all their tools on board. Or the Queen of Wands is dealing with family dysfunction of judgment, death, or the need to manifest or resurrect from the dead. Expected to make magic or always be the best, with Pisces, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Gemini or Virgo all upright here. Teddy, that's very loud. Shh. The Magician, Justice, or Gemini and Virgo, Libra, manifesting justice. The wounded warrior dropped the ball, as Teddy just dropped his bone, with the Queen of Swords reversed with issues at work. And that's me having issues at work as he dropped his bone. And no offer of love for bliss in a bold move of the King of Pentacles to offer help at 9:29, the Hermit, and being present in the moment. The gate closed when the Chariot arrived. So again, this is like Eyes Wide Shut, where the gate is closed when the Chariot arrived. And I watched the Eyes Wide Shut again after I did this. So the Chariot arrived, so the Knight of Pentacles had to get out. At 9:32, the Hermit and the Journey glued to the ceiling or hiding upstairs listening in, while the Chariot or car pulls up and the Knight of Pentacles upright gets out. Lovers with an offer from the Knight of Pentacles, or them offering help to the weary and grieving and those out of work, or offered money or gifts in lieu of emotions at work with issues, or no work available, or one being dearly missed at the workplace, or a lover refusing to work with you. So honeymoon comes up here, and beneath that, heart-to-heart conversations, where the Magician is hangry, and the Page of Swords is without a leg to stand on, and the Seven of Wands reversed is without an excuse, no longer defenseless to their charms. The King of Pentacles reversed is no superhero here, which is no surprise. There's no dinner waiting. Dropping the ball, or no longer getting a partner, lover, or child's undying admiration. And again, that's referencing Teddy not getting attention and dropping his ball. It's kind of funny, and it keeps coming up. And he definitely comes up as the King of Wands. The 941 is the Hermit, and the 41 of the Ace of Cups, with health, 71, and music beneath it, 32, the Journey. 71 is the Three of Pentacles, the workplace, or the co-creation. The energetic exchange of the Knight of Swords reversed, holding their tongue, imprisoned in the 5D connection, not sleeping or suffering in silence, or dealing with sister withholding or saving for a ship that has sailed. After the twin flame manifested, or chose to be the master manifester to create the illusion, keeping the Chariot waiting under the radar, or using someone for their backup plan, thinking they'll always be there to come back to them at 9:48, which is the Hermit, and the Eight of Wands of walking away within, and the helicopter flew by at that moment. One in the crib, withholding from the scoundrel, or Nordic Asian international exchange, or shipping and receiving, or missing one out to sea, who'd rather be there than here with thee, or thought they'd wait, but when they got there they were gone. Present to awakening as the Knight of Pentacles is looking for help or for work, but perhaps none available, and being refused by those who have been put on the back burner by them after they dropped the ball, or dealing with health issues, so they say. In the recent past is Indigo upright, Six of Cups, and the Hierophant upright, or proposal of marriage to soulmate. The King of Pentacles reversed may be starting over with the Page of Swords reversed to recover and hang out and be wise before investing any further. The Four of Swords reversed is coming up as awakening to share with the Divine Feminine and 5D world, suddenly present with gifts, and the Page of Swords reversed without a leg to stand on, after lying and spying and not replying or having spread rumors. The foundation is the Queen of Swords reversed, blocked by the Queen of Pentacles reversed, seeking justice with the Queen of Swords reversed, or the Queen of Pentacles is a Libra, or Libra is between the two. And the central energy is the Lovers or Gemini facing their worst fears of no sleep and awakening from the dead, as the Chariot saving and holding on, going crazy with the Knight of Wands upright rushing in on behalf of the Queen of Cups upright. The Page of Wands reverse is frustrated or uninspired, with no sleep or in the awakening, challenged by the lack of abundance, or the Empress reversed, being strong and taming the beast, or Leo or Child moving or visiting and on guard, or with strong defense at 1037, the Wheel and the King of Cups. Oh, and the movies that came up this night were Lady in Gold came up, about the famous painting and the right to have her painting back because it was her family's painting that was stolen in the war. And Heart Song also came up. Dumping a load, burden, responsibilities. The King of Cups reversed in connection to independent Leo, or pet, or independent sovereign. Divided or in a split, present to the feeling of freedom and the wind at their back. In a split, or after not sleeping, unable to wake them up, or recovering from a night out, the Knight of Cups, with the moon reversed, but the stars upright, and the Fool is upright. The Knight of Cups is upright at the crack of dawn, with dreams of being free. The King of Swords in a losing battle with the King of Wands and the Page of Pentacles who's reversed, in need of help or a missed opportunity, or perhaps just no invite, hanging out or hanging them out to dry, and expected to lead the way or offer good news and attract attention. And now is the Eight of Pentacles reversed, partnering up without telling they're not coming into work, or about the overtime of the King of Cups in a split with the Knight of Wands and settling out of business, or no love there, no love loss, or no sun, no moon, just work, 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 and drained and deceived. Are you okay, Teddy? It's okay. No worries. Drained and deceived, coming together to sample the merchandise in a heated exchange with the Dream Girl or Aquarius, unstable or making out, with the Ten of Pentacles reversed in the Dream family, codependency of the Queen of Swords reversed and the Knight of Swords upright, charging in uninvited and working all night, the Wounded Warrior on guard, dumping emotional attachments or multiple loads at 1132 of Justice and the Journeyman, and the strong King of Swords upright without a choice, or perhaps given an ultimatum, with the Ten of Cups reversed, unhappy family, or to end an emotional cycle here. Soon for the twins is the Four of Cups reversed, no longer an island to self after moving, a visit to prisoner, or anxiety-provoking visit, or home completion. Sovereign wanting to start over and making sure those who steal go to prison. The Ace of Pentacles upright making a big offer and then stealing away, as the offer didn't bring peace and caused them more lack of peace, tripping them up and losing it with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, business, or community. Dissatisfied, they think they can get away with it. The twin flames are coming up here as the rock stars, after walking away from the fallen angel or losing patience or their temper. The bliss of being tested or pushed to your limit, and the Knight of Cups offering love to detox with epiphanies or detox from sudden events. Destined to be defenseless without an excuse, the Emperor reversed and the Page of Wands reversed, where dreams come true in walking away after the worst is over, of pushing buttons or being dumped or overwhelmed, and the Knight of Cups offering to detox tragic events. Destined to not feed into being defensive with the Emperor reversed and the Page of Wands reversed, or father and son and grandchild here, or now due to the Emperor reverse and his bad influence, the Page of Wands reversed is now the fallen angel. At 1251 of hanging out as the King of Swords, this could be the one. Trust. It is safe for you to love. but also free yourself that children are now affecting your love life, and this is true love, the romance of a lifetime. So the hanging King of Swords around him, or how the twins are seen, is the Starseed, the download to the crown, the King of Wands with the Empress reversed, the King of Swords upright with the world upside down, and the men to control their women if they want. It was like saying that, like the Empress, like telling all these people, like for the men to control their women if they want their messages here. The King of Wands with woman in lack, and the King of Swords with divine feminine in 5D, or Taurus reversed and Pisces reversed women here. Aquarius and Aries, stars of the shadow, with Sagittarius, or stars of the show and the shadow, with Saggy, Capricorn, and Aries reversed, but Scorpio and Libra upright here. Men expecting to be catered to, women second-class citizens, and the block being the Two of Pentacles reversed, not surrendering to all that is. In a time out, abundance, and grieving true love of justice. The King of Cups reversed, with the King of Swords and King of Wands both upright, but without an invite, just hanging out to get attention. And the Serenade was coming up here. The King of Cups reversed with the Page of Cups reversed, a rejected child seeking attention, or leading child into temptation. As the King of Cups reversed is drained, or with Leo in their chart, the Sovereign moving or visiting, the Page of Wands reversed with issues at work, ending conflict or in a losing battle, a frustration or lack of inspiration. And at 148 of the Magician and the Walking Away Within of the Eight of Cups, is the awakening after the family's unhappy, with the King of Swords giving attention to stretch and grow in a wake-up call, to awaken and come out. The Queen of Swords reversed, the star with the Starseed for dreams to come true, the indigo lovers challenged by lack of abundance or loss of a mother, and starting over without surrendering to it all, not aligned, overworked, and the King of Cups reversed without sun, sovereign or single, moving with the Page of Wands reversed in need of work, and awakening indigo to the ship that has already sailed. The Queen of Swords reversed lover or Gemini, challenged by no mother or too much work, or need for abundance and work that they love. The star starting over with a fresh start, with a big download, breaking the patterns, or the King of Cups reversed without sun, independent child who's moving out or coming home without a job at 202. So the two High Priestesses, or the judgment of the High Priestess or Divine Feminine there. All right, you guys. Just a quick energy card. Is that what I want? Oh, I'm going to pick an animal deck card. So from my animal deck with the cats. It's 8:48 on the clock right now. So again, the Walking Away Within is important here. In the 8th of August, which is the dance between the masculine and the feminine, and the manifestation of dreams, as we are at the 17th, so we're going to be going into Virgo soon. The transition from the lion to the virgin, right? From the child who wants attention to the purification, right? Getting the details in order. All right, so what is our takeaway energy from this read today? Oh, that came right up. Justice of the Elephant. And that has lots of implications. The elephant of fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. Okay, with the 8, and there's the 8 again of August, and the dance of manifestation of dreams and being strong inside and out. Along with the little one, this is very much the energy of, right, the grandparent and the grandchild who's being the bad influence on them. The Prince of Autumn, trustworthy, dedicated, protective, and funny. The little seahorse, it's important to make a detailed plan before starting any new endeavor. Once you have that plan in place, then you can take immediate action and get as much accomplished as possible. So again, you know, it's like a father, a grandfather, or even the justice system dealing with a young one here, the Prince of Autumn. and getting justice here. And the older one, the elephant, being required to be patient and compassionate and be fair. Wait till all the evidence is, not just their perspective, but they have to wait till all the evidence is in. And it's important for the child also to learn how to make a plan before starting something and not just to jump into it, right? But to be patient and make a plan of what might work there. And then here is the dreamer of the shepherd puppy, and there's that Pisces holding the bridge open. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. And there's how many? 5, 6, 6 butterflies. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 butterflies. And 4 roses. That's that sweet spot, 4 to 7. So the elephant and the seahorse, along with the doggy playing, which is, that's Teddy's part. So it's like the mother and child, or the father and child, and then the pet, you know, who's holding a place for them. It's kind of like holding space for them to work their differences out. And then here is the king of spring, inspiring dramatic ambitions and wise, the Katunga lion. Now is your moment to step up to a leadership role. Don't back away from the spotlight, as your plans will be successful as long as you stay focused on the big picture. And there's that little birdie in the tree there too. They're being very sweet with each other. So it's so much that energy of the grandfather with the child. Okay, so both these, the elephant and the lion, are very much that energy of this, the grandparent and the child, or the parent and the child, or the powers that be in the child. And then there's the dog, who's kind of, you know, like holding space for everybody, you know, in that positive vibration, keeping the doors open, you know, by lightening things up. That's a nice message. And they didn't want to leave the cats and the horses out. So cats and horses too. It's not just dogs. And the chariot comes up here too. The ragdoll cat of 9 of autumn and the Arabian horse of the chariot. And again, there's that big push forward coming up in this energy. And the kangaroos don't want to be left out either. You know, you go through this whole deck because they have a whole lot of different animals in there, but it's not just about the dogs, even though Teddy would like to think so. The bottom of the deck is the Prince of Summer, romantic flirtations, introspective, and enchanting. The frog. It says, the deeply emotional frog, and probably romantic experience will sweep you off your feet. Things can move very quickly during such whirlwind encounters, so stay balanced and make decisions with both your heart and your intellect. Okay? And that's the mouse is right here, right? He's like the emperor. He comes up with the emperor, right? The little guy inside of the emperor who's very sweet with flowers right there. He's kind of shy, actually, when he's not in power at work. The deer mouse here, the deer one. Structure and organization are important right now. Don't be afraid to take on a leadership role. You have much wisdom to offer. So again, it's like the emperor and the grandchild, but it's also the child within the emperor and the frog that wants to be the prince. And we're dealing with all 3 generations because we're dealing with the grandparent and the child and the parent put between them who has to deal with both ends. And again, those energies. But there's definitely romance here with the frog wanting to become the prince. And the son or the grandson or daughter, you know, wanting to learn from the elder, but the elder has to also learn to be patient. They're learning from each other. And this has come up in many reads too, where the grandparent and the grandchild are being put together to live together, or being to take care of each other, so that they'll learn from each other. Yeah. Just give me 1 second here too. The elephant's coming in with justice. So there's that energy of the justice system, and then going to court, right? Because that movie that I just told you about was about going to court to have justice served. I don't know if a child wants to go to law school or defend somebody or learn to defend themselves. There's definitely stuff about the justice system coming in here. And it's very practical stuff about kids learning how to make plans to go forward for a new project or a new job. And also the lion and the lamb type of energy of being very sweet with each other and helpful as they both go forward. to learn to do new things, right? Taking a leadership role, or learning to, start a business or get a job, whatever it is. They're sharing their knowledge with each other, right? So the little ones bringing that innocence into the grown-up's life and that fresh perspective of what it's really like out there now, and vice versa. And I'm going to give you an energy card real quick too, and we'll be all set. It's 15501 and 2. There's the Empress and the Magician and the High Priestess, and the 55 of the Truth between them, right? His truth, her truth, and the truth. It's coming up between these combinations here. And that could be like parents with their opposite sex child, like fathers with daughters and mothers with their sons. But it's coming up very fatherly energy today. And there's the 2 horses taking action. The polarities come together to merge. The 17 of dreams coming true. Okay? Which requires taking off the mask. Taking off the mask. And the crown. And finding balance on the Fool's journey with an open heart, taking a leap of faith. And then again, there's balance again, the angel of balance, with walking away within. The bottom of the deck is the Statue of Liberty energy, right? With liberty and justice for all, and the 16 of sudden events and the 9/11 tower. So again, stuff is going on with New York and whatever's going on underneath there. I'm sure I'll be getting more messages. But again, someone who's not happy with their liberties being taken away from them, or they had a crowning achievement which didn't really serve them, or they couldn't implement it anymore. 16 of sudden events and being patient with them. And again, regarding how long it took to recover from 9/11. That there's always a reason behind everything. You just can't see it all the time right away. It takes time. And there's some indecision here in a path. The Dance of August. And Little Red Riding Hood. To grandmother's house we go. So again, there's that grandchild thing going on. And having their liberties taken away from them because grandparents don't let them do what their parents let them do. Yeah. Okay. So remember to drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, your joy in nature, and follow your own guidance. You're always the last one to consult, the first and last. And rise and be loved, love and rise. Follow your own guidance. Bye guys, have an amazing day. See ya.